What's good, everybody? RJ Shelton here, back with another Midwest recap. Hopefully, you guys had a great weekend. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. Packers went in and beat the 49ers 38-10. Jordan Love was 13 of 23 from the field, 163 yards, throwing in 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs had 25 carries for over 100 yards. He had 106 with 3 touchdowns. Romeo Dobbs had 3 receptions for 54 yards. It was one of those games where you sit there, you're like, we could have blown out this team more than we already did. But if you look at it, it really wasn't as bad as you thought it was. I mean, the only thing that was just a knife in the back was obviously Watson not going in to catch that touchdown pass. Beautiful throw from Jordan Love. We got to start connecting on those. And then there's a couple other guys as well. Romeo Dobbs had dropped the ball as well. This wide receiver room right now is kind of having the dropsies. That's the thing that you really don't want to have. But if you look at it, the running game went ahead and took care of it. Josh Jacobs, ever since he's been addition to this team, has been showing his presence, I feel, every single week. He's over 1,000 yards. I mean, this game right here just shows you when you went and watched the first drive. I mean, it was basically the Josh Jacobs show. And it's very good that the Packers do have a consistent running game. I think when you look at it, it might throw off Matt LaFleur due to just knowing that you can give a running back 26 carries and he can go ahead and take over the game. We still need to find that balance in regards to running and passing. When we go ahead and just observing and you just watch the game, and I think this has been kind of this year as a whole, we have all the tools in the toolbox to go ahead and look like one of the best offenses in the NFL. But I think Matt LaFleur makes it so hard on himself to where he wants to get cute with things. And what I mean by that is, okay, we're going to go ahead and do, which I thought was good motion. They did like a little like fake end around. They faked that, then handed off to Josh Jacobs. That was good. I like that. But instead of going in different formations and different things to where now Jordan Love, instead of getting him in a rhythm, we're not getting him in rhythm to go ahead and make it easier for reads. Yes, I know the the Watson should have been a catch, but to make it consistent and easy for Jordan Love to go ahead and make reads and make throws, the Tucker Craft, obviously the first touchdown, that was a great play call, on the first drive. But when you go ahead and we get those good drives going, looking from the first quarter to the second quarter, you're like, okay, this is one of the games where you go ahead and this should be in the bag. So what I mean by that, so the first quarter, obviously touchdown, and then that field goal situation, that should have been another 7. So we're really going to go ahead and go in up 21-7 going into halftime. And then obviously third quarter, Josh Jacobs goes and runs it in, Josh Jacobs again. And then Heath with the 3-yard touchdown, great route off the ball, got open, good throw by Jordan Love. But back to what I feel we need to do to go ahead and make this as complex and simple to go ahead and get us where we need to get to, playoff, Super Bowl. We are conceding that we are a running team now. And I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally fine with going ahead and getting the ball to Josh Jacobs 26 times, a game. But I do want to be able to go ahead and throw the football. If we saw this last game, yeah, okay, you didn't go ahead and see the, deep balls, Jordan Love needs to throw for over 30, times a game, which I believe he still can. And you still are able to do that with being able to run the ball over 20 plus times. It's just the formations and what we run. I think we need to simplify that. Matt LaFleur needs to go ahead and tighten down that play sheet to go ahead and be able to get crossers over the middle to Jalen Reed or to Tucker Craft or to go ahead and do play action. I mean, I haven't seen play action from the center, or realistically, there's a handful of times where you do see it from the gun. But I think if we are able to go ahead and run for over 100 yards, the defense has to stay true. If we do get under center, hand the ball off or hard play action, something's going to be open in the middle of the field. And I have not yet to seen that from this Matt LaFleur offense. And I feel if we get back to just our basics, we already run the football, go ahead and get up under center, just like we back in the day when Brett Favre was playing, just like when we had Aaron Rodgers, get that under the center going first half, and then second half you can go ahead and get in the shotgun to switch it up, but still keep the hard play action. I'm being nitpicky, but I just feel if we do that, we're going to go ahead and take this team to the next level and go ahead and get ourselves in New Orleans because we have the talents to do whatever we want to do on that field to go ahead and put our team in position to win. Defense, played well. Granted, they hold a 49ers team that's banged up, but it's a good, win for the defense. When you can go ahead and hold a team under the 44 rushing yards, there was only 197 passing, but to go ahead and hold a team under 44 yards rushing, you definitely have a good chance to go ahead and win a football game. A couple plays that I love to see. Obviously, we got Van Ness going. He finally got himself a sack. That's another guy that's got to play huge for us down the stretch. Who else here played a very good game? Even though we've been harping on Quay Walker, he played a little bit better than he did this past week. We already know about Xavier McKinney, another guy that's just a great addition to this football club. He's been playing out his mind. He had an interception as well. And the more that we can go ahead and get him playing center field, the more that this defense is more assertive and is able to make plays. Keyshawn Nix, harping on him, always been dogging him. He finally came out and made a nice little fumble or strip fumble to go ahead and, pick up from what he did last weekend, which was horrific. Now he went ahead and made some plays, which is what we need. You need to make plays on the defensive end. And I think this defense, that's what we're predicated on. You see that we get interceptions, we force turnovers. Jeff Hafley, that's kind of was his MO coming in. Once we do that and get to the quarterback, this was a game where I just feel we were in the lap of the quarterback. Rashawn Gary, even though he didn't get a sack, I'm looking here, if I recall. Oh, no, he did, excuse me. When we go ahead and get that D-line going, we get Kenny Clark going, we get Rashawn Gary going, we get Van Ness going, and then on top of that, the back-end guys, Cox Jr., Brooks, those guys get home, we are always going to be in a good position to win. And, this was a game from the defense. This was a great pickup from last week due to that horrible, I don't want to say horrible performance. Both D-line played well, but more from the secondary. They played very well this game to go ahead and get this W. We are 8-3 right now. We go ahead and face the Dolphins, which is this Thursday on Thanksgiving. That's going to be another tough one. Dolphins are playing really well right now. Tua Tagovailoa, his weapons, the defense, they're going to come in and it's not going to be a slouch. So you need to go ahead and make sure you take care of business because now these games are important from the time Thanksgiving is done all the way to the end. So that one is at 7:20 on Thanksgiving Day to go ahead and watch us some good football, and especially for us Packer fans, be able to eat some leftovers and watch a good game there in Lambeau. Next time, moving over to the Wisconsin Badgers. They had went ahead and lost against Nebraska 44-25. Braden Locke was 20 of 30 from the field, 292 yards throwing, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Anthony II had 7 carries for 137 yards and 1 touchdown. Durup had 8 carries for 63 yards. Offensively, you look at it, not bad when you see, when I see the quarterback play the way I see it right now as I'm looking at it. Played well. If you're 20 of 30 from the field, you're doing what you need to do to go ahead and put yourself for to go win a game. Basically what this comes down to is that the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. Mike Tressel went ahead and did very well this past weekend. This weekend was a little bit tough. Granted, they did have their senior safety who's played a lot of ball games come out, so they had a lot of young guys in there. You give up 239 yards passing, 180 yards rushing, total of 473 yards. There's no way that you're going to go ahead and win a game on the road. So it was a tough one for the defense, but for the offensive end, I definitely liked what I saw. You put 25 points up. There's a couple, points that you left out. The field goal in the beginning of the half. In the first half, that was kind of a low blow because you got to have points going on the road. You can't go ahead and be behind the 8 ball when you're able to go ahead and put your team in a position to score. So we're looking at it, man. This isn't good. 5-6. This next game against Minnesota is a must win. And if that doesn't happen, we're going to have some hot seat issues with Fickle. If he doesn't win this, I'm going to tell you this right now, we're going to hear all offseason who's available for next head coaching position, because you don't want to go ahead and break that streak in Wisconsin history of not going to a bowl game. And you don't want to be the first coach to go ahead and do that. So this is a huge one for Wisconsin. It's this Friday, 29th. It's an 11 a.m. game. It is for the Axe. So we shall see. But the way this team's playing, it's a coin toss at this point. So we shall see the 29th. And then last but not least here, Milwaukee Bucks here on a 4-game win streak. They're 8-9, playing very well. It's very early in the season, but to go ahead and see the progress that we've seen throughout the weeks. Giannis is playing at an MVP level. Guys around him are playing well. Damian Lillard is doing what he needs to do. Trent Jr. is definitely a piece that is going to be huge for us this year. I say this all the time to my buddies, and obviously, on Twitter and everything. If he's shooting at least 45, maybe even 35% from three, or anybody that comes off the bench that goes ahead and shoots the ball at a high clip from the three-point line or have opportunities to hit knockdown shots, because you're going to have wide open shots. You got Giannis and Dame. So if any of our guys can go ahead and shoot over 35%, we're going to be a tough ball club to go ahead and face every single day. So shout out to the Bucks for going ahead and making that turnaround. 8-9. They go ahead and face let me see here. They face the Heat today at 6:30, and then and let me see. Yep, 6:30, and then this weekend they face the Wizards. But that Heat game is definitely in the Cup stage, so that's definitely going to be a big game. When we always play the Heat, that's definitely playoff atmosphere, so I'm excited to see that one. Moving on over to Minnesota area, the Vikings went ahead and won 30-27 against the Chicago Bears. Sam Darnold was 20 of 33 from the field, 330 yards throwing, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones had 22 carries for 106 yards and 1 touchdown. And Jordan Addison had a day, career high, 8 receptions for 162 yards and 1 touchdown. Vikings 9-2. That was a big time win. Always tough to play when you have a division game. I don't care who it is. And based off what you saw last week, Bears are playing well. I don't care what anyone says. Caleb Williams and obviously their new OC have figured a way for him to go ahead and simplify the game. But the Vikings went ahead and did what needed to be done. A game that you got to go ahead and take care of situations where things don't go your way. They did. They won. And you move on. They go ahead and face let's see here. They face the Cardinals December 1st. Even though the Cardinals are going to go ahead and play well, they play indoors just like the Vikings do. You still got Kyler Murray coming in. He's definitely a top quarterback within this league. This is one of those games that could be a sleeper, but you got to go ahead and keep stacking those wins because they're important as of right now. And then moving on over to Gopher football, they went ahead and lost to Penn State 26-25. Max Boserman was 15 of 23 from the field, 170 yards throwing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Darius Taylor had 17 carries for 58 yards. And Jackson had 6 receptions for 90 yards. Tough loss. I had an opportunity to go ahead and win. It just didn't go the way that you wanted it to go, even though you went ahead and played a very good Penn State team at home. You're still in a good situation. You're going to a bowl game. Big one against Wisconsin. If you want my honest opinion, I think this is definitely going to be a game that you can definitely go ahead and go into Camp Randall and win by double digits the way you just saw Wisconsin go ahead and play Nebraska. If their defense is going to be young or they're not going to be able to stop the run or the pass, you have an opportunity to go in here and really make a statement on this rivalry to go ahead and be like, hey, listen, we're the ones that run this. We're going to go ahead and take this axe back to MSP, and we're going to go ahead and go into a bowl game. We're going to get those 3 weeks preps. We're going to get better. I don't know what the spread will come out of, for this game. Do it to be a rivalry. I don't see it maybe going over 7.5. But I'm going to go ahead and take that 7.5 for Minnesota to win, because I just think Minnesota is a way better football team than Wisconsin. So go ahead and get the job done. And then you do that, you're 7-5. Don't know what bowl game you go to, but if you look back at this season, definitely a lot of good wins. But go ahead and finish strong against Wisconsin. That one is at 11 o'clock, and we shall see who goes and takes the axe home. And then last but not least here, the Timberwolves are 8-8. Unfortunately, on a 2-game losing streak. But again, as I said earlier with the Bucks, very early in the season. They did lose, though, to the Boston Celtics by 2. They go ahead and face the Rockets in the Cup stage as well. So that should be a good game, but I should see the Timberwolves winning that at home. And then Wednesday, they face the Kings. And Friday, they're back in the group stage to go ahead and face the LA Clippers on the 29th, which is this Friday in MSP. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Moving on over to the Chicago area, Bears lost to the Vikings 30-27. Caleb Williams was 32 of 47 from the field, 340 yards throwing, 2 touchdowns. Also led rushing as well with 6 carries and 33 yards. And DJ Moore had 7 receptions for 106 yards and 1 touchdown. Another one where you're like, man, anything can't go our way. But the positive of what I look at this is that Caleb Williams has definitely found his rhythm and is connected with his offensive coordinator. You do not change that. Again, I repeat, you do not change that for him. Ball's going ahead and getting out assertively, quickly. He's making decisions. Even though it's small checkdowns, things like that, he's not turning the ball over. And when you're not turning the ball over and you're able to give yourself a position to win, granted, they went ahead, went to overtime. There was a bad stall out in regards of them taking time off the clock and running kind of the wrong plays to go ahead and make it a situation for them to go ahead and win. That was the only hiccup in that game. Even though this was a tough loss, just like this week, just like last week, you got to hang your head on that Caleb Williams is starting to go ahead and play better, and you ride that through because you don't know what can happen these next games. Any given Sunday, yes, I know, oh, we're cursed, this and that, but you got to go ahead and hang your hat on that you are playing at a competitive level against all your divisional opponents that you've played. You played the Packers well. You played the Vikings well. Yeah, there weren't W's, but you got to go ahead and see the progress in regards to what your quarterback is doing because that is the most primary position in the NFL. They do go ahead and face, let's see here, they are in the gauntlet of their, schedule. They do face the Lions in Detroit. That will be a tough one. But at the same time, they went ahead and went on the road to go ahead and face the Texans, almost won that game. So if they come out and play the way they're playing, obviously the Lions are red hot right now. Anything can go in this divisional game. Just go ahead and continue to play good, fundamental football at the quarterback position because your defense is going to go ahead and play well as they've always played. So they got the Lions Thursday as well on Thanksgiving. So that one's at 11:30. Illinois football, they went ahead and beat Rutgers in a comeback win, 38-31. Luke Altmaier was 12 of 26 from the field, 239 yards throwing and 2 touchdowns. He also led rushing as well with 11 carries for 74 yards and 1 touchdown. Pat Bryant, 7 receptions for 197 yards and 1 touchdown. 9-3 final line. Brett Bielema is going to definitely go ahead and get himself and his team in a good bowl game. Resilient win. When you go ahead, you were down in the fourth quarter. Rutgers scores, you get the ball back. You go ahead and find Bryant, who was on fire the whole game, middle of the field, and then you find him again to go ahead and score, to go ahead and put you up in the fourth quarter to basically ice the game. Great win. Definitely going to be a ball club right now that's going to be, from years to come in the Big Ten, be a staple. I think what they got going on is just only going to have momentum going on from here on out. So shout out to Illinois. They go ahead in their last game. They face Northwestern, and that one's at Northwestern at 11 a.m. This Saturday. So definitely on verge to go ahead and go 10-3, which I think they definitely can. I think Illinois is way too much, but this is definitely a sleeper game that you got to come out and play. Northwestern's always get-ups for games like this. In-state rivals, Northwestern, Illinois, 2 hours away. You got people that went to Northwestern. You got people that went to Illinois. So it's definitely going to be a game that you definitely got to get ready for, and that rivalry is still there. I don't care what anyone says. especially when it's in state. So that one's at 11 o'clock. And then last but not least, the Bulls here in 11. They're 10th in the Eastern Conference. They go ahead in their lineup of teams that they play. They go ahead and face, let's see, the Wizards in the group stage today. And then Wednesday, they go ahead and face the Magic. And then they're back in the group stage. They face the Celtics on Friday. And then last but not least here, the Michigan area, Lions went ahead and beat the Colts 24-6. Jared Goff was 26 of 36 from the field, 269 yards throwing. Jahmyr Gibbs had 21 carries for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jameson Williams had 5 receptions for 64 yards. I mean, it's just another consistent Lions win. Complimentary. Defense doing what they need to do. Offense doing what they need to do. 10-1. You go ahead and face the Lions the 28th. That's definitely going to be a game that you got to get up and play for because Caleb Williams is playing at a very high level right now. They have it clicking on offense. They know their identity on both ends. So this is definitely going to be a dogfight. This game's going to be closer than I think a lot of people are assuming it's going to be. So we shall see. Do I think the Lions win? Yeah, because they've been put in every situation up to this point. But this is definitely be a game that you got to go ahead and be locked in for because you never know what you're going to get from the Bears. Because if they start hot and you start kind of sluggish, you're getting field goals instead of touchdowns, but the Bears are getting touchdowns. And now we're in for a ball game to go ahead and see, when it comes down to the wire, what you can do. So I'm excited to watch that one. That was at 11:30. And then Spartan football went ahead and beat the Purdue Boilermakers 24-17. We are 5-6 right now. Big one this coming week against Rutgers to go ahead and get us into a bowl to go 6-6. Aiden Childs, was 15 of 31 from the field, 159 yards, throwing 2 touchdowns. Lynch Adams had 18 carries for 85 yards. Foster Jr. had 4 receptions for 59 yards and 1 touchdown. Win's a win. Great win. Friday night. No one was there. So basically it's like a scrimmage. You get what you need to get done. You go ahead and win. This next one's the big one. We have got to be locked in. We have got to go ahead and put our best foot forward. We got to do it. I don't know any other way to put it. Quarterback's got to play at a high level. Offensive coordinators got to go ahead and get things lined up to where we can put Aiden Childs in this offense in the right position to score points every time we step on the field. Defense got to continue to go ahead and get turnovers. D-line's got to get home. We got to get off the field on third downs. And when there's plays to be made on both ends, special teams, make them. And I think we can definitely do that. So I'm excited for this, game for Michigan State. You're showing me that you still got the grit to go ahead and fight, to go ahead and continue to have your, bowl game eligibility alive. Let's get it done, man. There's no way to go ahead and go around it. So that should be, I'm assuming, 11 a.m. game. Nope. So it is a 2:30 p.m. game on Saturday. So I'm locked in. Let's get the job done. And then last but not least here, the Pistons. They are 7-11 as well. They are 11th in the Eastern Conference. Their lineup this week, give me a sec here, show you guys that this Saturday they faced the 76ers as the 30th. They played the Pacers. Excuse me. Let me rewind that actually. So yesterday they went ahead and faced the Raptors. Wednesday they go ahead and face the Grizzlies, and then Friday they are back in the group stage and they face the Pacers on Friday. So look at that. Go ahead this week. Go realistically can go 3-0. That tough one might be against the Grizzlies, but I think John Morant's out. So you're looking at potentially going 3-0. The only tough one really that I look at is the Pacers. So we shall see what goes on there. With all that being said, if you do hear this, and obviously we have the lineup of guys that come on here, my good brother James Menshaw with the BD Boys, my good brother Tony Lippett when we talk with Spartan Dogs that do go ahead and appear on your phone throughout this week. I just want to go ahead and wish you guys a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy time with your family. Enjoy time to sit down and go ahead and conversate. We'll definitely go ahead and see you soon. You definitely hear what we got going on. We'll see you soon. Peace.